Help, I'm pushing up, Rotate.
Bruno, they're rotating back. They're rotating back.
They're gonna go, just rotate, guys, just rotate, give it up. Nice, rotate.
Greetings and welcome to the Big 2-0, episode number 20 of the Rotation with Zhack. And let me tell you, we have an incredible show in store for you today. Listen, Major 4 has just concluded. Atlanta FaZe continue to reign supreme. We'll break all that down, the storylines, Barrack news and notes around the league, and everything that has happened since the last time you saw me here on the Rotation with Zhack. Trust me, it's going to be incredible. As always, make sure you hit me up on Twitter at Zhack16, Instagram, it's the same thing. And big news, we got a new channel name on YouTube. Instead of just my name, Zach Warhack, it is now Zhack, Z-H-A-C-K, so everything is all in the same spot. Tell your friends, family, and fans of the Call of Duty League that is where you can now find the Rotation with Zhack. And as always, I have my man, Murph, come here, buddy, come here. Yeah, Murph. He is ready to talk some Call of Duty today on episode 20 of the Rotation with Zhack. Listen, we have a lot to get into today, a lot to break down. Murph is going to go take a nap real quick while I spatter for the next hour or so. Without further ado, let's get straight into it and let's hop into some First Blood. My First Blood take, it's talking about the popularity of the CDL. And let me tell you this. The popularity of the Call of Duty League is more broad than we think. Despite there being talks about viewership this past week, especially with Major number 4 and maybe the numbers not peaking where fans of the league and even the hosts in the Call of Duty League and big wigs like Activision, even though those numbers may not be where they want them to, there are great advocates for the league in different places that you may not expect. What I mean by this, there are fans around the world of the Call of Duty League and celebrities, famous personalities that we don't even know who watch the Call of Duty League, and one of these personalities came out of the woodworks this past week, and it was a big one. Jon Rahm, for those of you who don't know, is a golfer on the PGA Tour. He won the US Open this past week with an incredible finish, making a bomb for a birdie on hole number 18, and I'm going to show you this clip real quick to see that there are advocates all over the world for the Call of Duty League, and this is going to help the league continue to grow to get the viewership we want eventually. So without further ado, let's take a look at this video.
No, I mean, I did the same routine, you know, for people that follow this, and I'm a shock a few people. I woke up excited because I could watch a match that, a Call of Duty tournament, you know, which was esports that was going on. A team that I follow, which is OpTic Chicago, had just played and the night before, and I knew I could watch it. It's about an hour and a half, so I had a busy morning. And I went downstairs, you know, got my water, my coffee. The chef was making breakfast, and I was just watching my Call of Duty event. That's simple as that. Then Kelly came down with the baby, spent some dad time, and then got ready. I mean, I know, shocking for some people, but yeah, that's what I was doing.
That is incredible stuff right there. After winning a multi-million-dollar major tournament on the PGA Tour and being interviewed, Jon Rahm tells you that he started his day with the Call of Duty League, with action of OpTic Chicago versus the Dallas Empire on a championship Sunday for Major number 4. That is amazing. Not only because Jon Rahm, a professional golfer, is talking about this, but because I know the guy. I work at Papago Golf Course, which is the home course of Arizona State University. He hangs around all the time. I didn't know this about Jon. I didn't know that he's an advocate for the Call of Duty League, and I think that's the biggest takeaway from this point that I'm making. A lot of us don't know who is watching this, because myself, Joe Schmo, the average guy, a fan of Call of Duty, and we got into competitive years ago, sure, we are part of the viewership that makes up and combines the Call of Duty League. But on top of that, there are guys like Jon Rahm and other professional athletes and celebrities, singers, songwriters, actors, and actresses who just enjoy video games, and they've come upon and discovered places like the Call of Duty League or the LCS for League of Legends or Rocket League or anything like that. Overwatch, a competitive video game, they have found it. This is great for the Call of Duty League, because what it does is it reaches to a completely separate fan base. Because maybe some people like golf, maybe some people just like Call of Duty, but maybe Like myself, there are some people who play and love Call of Duty, and also on my weekends every once in a while, I love to play golf and I watch golf on TV and I see the major championships. Then I see an interview with Jon Rahm, this year's US Open champion, and he says, yeah, I like to do both. I played golf and won a major championship this weekend, and on the other end, I like watching competitive Call of Duty. Some golf fans who have played video games may not have known that the Call of Duty League exists, and now that Jon Rahm has touched upon it and spoken upon it, that door is open. That brings in viewers, and this is a step in the right direction for the Call of Duty League. So many people love the Call of Duty League, and so many people love Call of Duty just in general, but don't know that the league exists. When you get celebrities and professional athletes, anyone who has a big name advocating for this league, trust me, some of their fans, they will come over to whatever they're talking about. So I guarantee you that there will be some viewership spike from golf fans because Jon Rahm has touched about this. I think it's big for the Call of Duty League because we want the numbers to increase and increase exponentially. Let's talk about that real quick. This was a speaking point and some controversy throughout the weekend of Major number 4. I saw Maven get into it on Twitter with some fans, and he doesn't hold back. Like when Maven gets into an argument, his opinion is so strong, and I love what he has to say, that he will just roast you. So don't get into a fight with Maven over Twitter, especially over things within the Call of Duty League when you're not armed with information or education, because he will put you in the dirt. So let's break down the numbers and see what happened this past weekend. For the Stage 4 Major, our viewership numbers peaked at 86,532. Now, those are live viewers at one given moment, okay? Because I know people can go back and watch the matches, and that will get the actual live stream on YouTube up to a couple million views. But in the present moment, like when you talk about viewership for the Super Bowl, you're talking about fans who are tuned in live watching that event in the moment. The largest number we hit for the Call of Duty League Stage 4 Major was that number I just mentioned, 86,532. In my opinion, that's a little bit disappointing for a major. I think you see League of Legends hit 100,000 views. Why can't we get there? Why can we not hit 6 figures as the Call of Duty League? On top of that, the average viewership throughout the weekend was 43,684. So that's cumulative across all the matches played, everything that was going on live, 43,684 was the average viewership. I think the thing to me that is most disappointing about the viewership numbers for the Call of Duty League for the Stage 4 Major is the fact that the Grand Finals was the 5th most watched match on the weekend. The top 3 viewed matches were OpTic versus Dallas, both of those matches, and then OpTic versus Seattle. We know that's going to be the story. Throughout time, OpTic have done a great job with content, immersing fans to become one with those guys. What I mean by that is with Scump, Hex, Hitch, all these guys vlogging back in the day at 6050 and 1235 McAlpin at the Scuff House, you get a glimpse in their life. You feel like you are a part of OpTic Gaming because you know what they have going on day to day, and you feel like you're a part of that family. That's how the green wall has been built up, and that's how the support is so strong. And hell, that's why a guy like Jon Rahm, that is his favorite team, because he has that in with those guys, and he feels the relationship even though it's not really there yet. I guarantee he'll do stuff with them, but that's besides the point. So we know that OpTic, because of what they've done in the past and how Hector has built a great organization and a great brand, that's why they are going to be the most viewed match every day of the week. The green wall runs strong. They have the most critics and they have the most fans. Opposite sides of the spectrum, that is what brings the eyeballs to all the OpTic matches. But come on, Call of Duty League fans. What are we doing? We had a grand finals match that went to a Game 9 in a best-of-9 series, and all we could bring out was 65,399 fans. That's close to 20,000 viewers less than OpTic and Dallas had. It's just pathetic in my opinion. It's a grand finals match with $200,000 on the line. That is the highest stakes that you can get in the regular season for the Call of Duty League, and we can't even show out with the highest number of viewers to that. Something has to be done. Now, this is where things come into discussion and conversation that Maven had talked about in viewership with the Call of Duty League, that Warzone is what Warzone is. And people gravitate towards that because it stimulates your senses as a viewer. It's fast-paced, it's hot and heavy, and the thing on top of that, there are tournaments and kill races every single day in Warzone where big names are performing. Aiden will be playing a tournament every day with Rated. You'll see him, you'll see guys like Jowo, Swag, every single one of these players competing. We just saw a really cool thing with the $300,000 World Series of Warzone tournament, but that included some CDL pros. So I digress from that. Maybe I'll talk about that in a little bit. But that's one of the big talking points that Maven had, is that viewership, Warzone has transcended Call of Duty completely. Because it's straight away. There are multiple things to take into account. Not a good league play competitive system, Warzone, and not great multiplayer for the average person. That has taken views away from the Call of Duty League. Viewership hasn't been incentivized as good as it could be, and just plain and simple, that's how it's going to be. The analytics have been run. Call of Duty is trying their best, but I think as fans, we can do better on top of that. 65,000 for a grand finals that went the distance. It's pathetic. At the end of the day, we have to be better. I hope Champs brings us to have more eyes on it. Maybe we'll get fans in person as well. But for now, the grand finals not being the most viewed match when it was exciting as hell and it went the distance, all 9 maps, it's kind of pathetic that we couldn't make that the peak viewership. That is my first blood take. I love what we see with professionals in different environments in sports, actors, actresses, celebrities, singers, songwriters, everybody getting in on the Call of Duty League. That is really cool. It's badass to see. On top of that, the viewership numbers, I think we can increase those, especially for grand finals in a major tournament. But I digress. That is the first blood take. Let me know what you think. Hit me up on Twitter at ZHack16 or in the comments on the YouTube, just at ZHack. That's where you can find me. Let me know what you think, and I'm going to keep the show rolling here. Episode number 20. We're off to a good start with that first blood take, but now let's dive into the Barracks news and notes from around the league. I talked about the viewership of Major 4, but let's break it down and dissect it and just talk about the Major 4 in general. And let me tell you, Turtle Beach is off to the team at the Call of Duty League. I got to get some Astros because that's the official sponsor of the CDL, but listen, these things, they're still working great for me. But round of applause to the Call of Duty League because this event was incredible. The first time we are back on LAN and my initial reaction blew me out of the water. It met my expectations and it means the world to me to see this competitive level back to the highest threshold that it can be. And we saw it affect certain teams and affect certain players. I have a lot of observations about Major number 4, but the biggest thing is LAN is the environment that we need to be in. It clearly offers the best competitive environment for all these teams, all these players and organizations, and we saw it. Listen, some of the bottom tier teams still performed as bottom tier teams, but then you see breakthrough performances where LAN really affected things. You point your finger at the Seattle Surge, and I will talk about them in a moment. But plain and simple, everything that we know and love about LAN was back. The trash talk about the stage, from cross to cross, from monitor to monitor, it was there. The smack talk, the rivalries, the walkouts, the poses, these guys all being together and the content being created behind the scenes, seeing them scrim, seeing the content creators and social media spearheads of each team and each organization being able to produce things that we haven't seen in a long time because we've been online and behind the scenes. It's great. There's so much potential for what we can have, and we're already starting to reach it again with us being at LAN. I hope that by the time champs are here, we can have fans and other personalities in the arena on LAN. But this is a great start for the Call of Duty League. I think that this is as good as it gets. There were no technical issues, pretty much. There were a couple of pauses with setups, controllers, resets, things of that nature, but nothing major to make LAN a flaw the first time back. It was a well-run event. I think all the players had positive things to say about it, and as a viewer, it's what we wanted. There were no excuses anymore. No BS about being online, the server, lagging, this, that. No! You were on a natural environment, one-to-one, mano-y-mano. Everything that you had, your opponent had as well. All the equipment, all the tactics. LAN is here, and it is the best competitive environment for us. I love to see it, and I can't wait to see more. Nothing's really been announced for the future and the future and the future for what we have coming up for Stage 5 and also Champs. But I'm telling you right now, it's going to be on LAN, and it better be on LAN because this was incredible. Some observations and takeaways that I had from Major 4 in regards to things being on LAN is that it did make guys look better. Specifically, I already talked about it, the Seattle Surge, and more specifically, you have to talk about Octane. The guy is actually the truth. He was disgusting, and I think he single-handedly willed his team, brought them together, and got them to win a couple of matches. Hell, they almost beat OpTic. They went the distance all 5 maps against OpTic Chicago. They lost in the S&D ultimately, but Octane is a Lanimal. You saw all the memes, Lantane, Octane is a beast, whatever it may be. He spoke it into existence. But I think that what he has done so far throughout the year, and he has even said it, that maybe he kind of got into his own head being online. I think I could definitely see that happening with Octane because he was a beast on LAN, but he was still good online, but his mental health had just deteriorated, and he was so in his own head about playing online. In his recent YouTube video, he talked about it. He said he really did need LAN back, and he proved himself. But on top of that, he was in his own head with online, saying, oh, online is trash. I can't do this. It's not a level playing field. How are we playing an online league? Listen, I have been an advocate for saying that, you know what, even though online has these intricacies and little things where it can be changed up, if you look at it, the best team is still the best team. FaZe online, FaZe on LAN, doesn't matter. They're still running through their opponents. So does it really matter that much? I personally don't think so. Certainly there's little changes, and Octane is a better player on LAN, but he was still good online, like a positive KD. He was running kids up. His team just didn't click well, and I think that's partially because of the vibes on the team were so low because they complained about things like being online instead of on LAN. Overall, I think it's a crummy excuse, but Octane really was a lot better on LAN, and he came up and he showed up for his team. So that is one observation that I had from this recent tournament. The other observation is there were guys who we didn't know how they were going to be, a lot of rookies, and they proved themselves. I think Standy and Neptune were the two notable guys. And even Afro, in their one match they played, he looked good, but they showed up on LAN. There's always question marks. There's always the first match jitter. There's being in person, getting yelled at across the stage from your opponent. And I think the biggest one who showed up was Neptune. Despite them ultimately losing to a pickup team in NYSL, the Florida Mutineers, they're looking up, all right? They didn't get the result they wanted. Things didn't go the way that they expected and anticipated, but I think that this sheds some light on what they will be in the future. Neptune is a stud. He's performed all year for this team online. It was a great pickup. It was a great roster move to start him. Pick Havoc up now, put Slacked on the bench. This team is looking good, and I think that their ceiling is even higher now that we know that Neptune, he doesn't have the jitters. He won't be a player who's just an onliner, like he's a king on LAN. On the other side of that, another SMG, Minnesota, Standy, he looked good. They definitely did not have the result that they wanted through Major number 4, but I think, again, that's another team where a future is bright. So those are just a couple of quick observations about some guys who there were question marks surrounding them. Can they perform on LAN as they did online and make that difference for their team? Those are my initial thoughts. There are definitely still some news and notes from around the league to talk about. And this next one, it's just incredible that it could even happen. Coming in to this weekend, being back on land and looking at the roster, the LA Thieves were a favorite for a lot of people to make a loser's bracket run. They were set up strongly in their first match against the LA Guerrillas, and then what happens is absolutely unheard of. Nobody could have thought of it happening, but it does. Rumors go around, and I guess the final say is that Huke spells his name wrong on his COVID test, so it gets denied. He can't be in the venue. He cannot play for his team, and this cost LA Thieves their match. It is unbelievable. The memes have been generated, and everybody has come out and had their 2 cents about it, except for me, because I'm starting this recap episode. How the hell, first of all, do you initially spell your name wrong on your COVID test? That's number 1. Number 2, how do you not double check that? Like, do you just submit it right away? I always proofread and double check big things and big forms of ID. When I went to get my passport, driver's license, when I filled out all these forms of ID that were going to be me for the future, when I enter giveaways, for God's sake, I make sure that my name and email address is spelled correctly. When I get an Uber Eats and sign up for that, I make sure that my name is spelled correctly. How do you misspell your name in the first place and then not double check it to make sure that it is correct? In a $500,000 tournament, you can't proofread your own name and you don't have somebody there holding your hand saying, yo, you spelled your name wrong, dude. Fix it, delete it, go back. That's incredible. I think that's the final say. Let's look it up because there were rumors that 1, Kyler woke up late and missed the COVID test. But number 2 is that he just spelled his name wrong. Again, I have no idea how this can happen. Nadeshot came out. He was pissed off because Jake Lucky was coming at 100 Thieves, LA Thieves as an organization saying, excuse me, how do you mess that up? How do you spell your name wrong when you're here for a major tournament? And I thought that myself first. So let's get back here on Nadeshot's Twitter so we can find everything to a T and how it is. So we're back to June 20th. We're talking about the LCS, yada, 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 yada. Let's get into the Call of Duty League. Okay, so the tweets may have been deleted or something like that where I can't find them. Let's see tweets and replies from Nadeshot. But I'm just going to keep talking about this. It's incredible, and in my opinion, it costed the LA Thieves a chance at making a loser's bracket run. Okay, so we found the thread of tweets between Nadeshot and Jake, and here is what happened. So Jake posted a tweet after this initially happened saying, Huke was announced as a starter over a week ago, and we are supposed to believe he wasn't able and ready to take his COVID test at the proper time. Something ain't adding up because LA Thieves, they went out and said our starting roster for Stage 4, that was a while ago, and then this comes out. They have Draza in place of Huke. As part of CDL's COVID guidelines, player to be tested the night before the match. Huke was not available to be tested at the dedicated time. So that's the first thing, that it was a time thing. And then it comes out and Nadeshot responds to this and says, why are you twisting this into some fan fiction conspiracy when it's just black and white? Kyler spelled his name wrong on his COVID test from last night, so it was invalid. Then he showed up to the venue without an ID, wasn't able to be tested again. What? My mind is blown. It's unfortunate circumstances, but the reality is this is the first land back and COVID protocols are being enforced. Our match was supposed to start at 1, and we had to submit our roster for the match. Draza was tested and available, simple as that. And then we go on to say, okay, proper explanation because nobody knew that Kyler was late. Nobody knew he misspelled his name. Those are the things that happened. So that's the situation as explained by Nadeshot and the little tiff he got into with Jake. And that's how it goes down. Okay, that's great. He spelled his name wrong. I still broke that down. How do you do that? How do you not fact check it? How do you not have your ID going into the arena? Every time I leave the house, I carry phone, wallet, keys, and Meg. I make sure my girlfriend's there. She has everything she needs. Phone, wallet, keys. My wallet has my ID in it. How do you not have that? So I don't know what the protocol is, if he could have been retested if he had his ID or not. But nonetheless, this costed the LA Thieves a chance at a loser's bracket run. I'm not saying Draza is trash, but the team had been practicing with Huke, and I think on LAN, this would have been a composition that could have excelled. TJ didn't play great. Slasher looked good in the match, but then you have Slasher, Kenny, Huke, and TJ. Like, these are guys who have been there before on LAN and impressed to the highest standard. Plain and simple, this hiccup caused the LA Thieves from a chance at a loser's bracket run. I think they win the first 2 matches. I think they beat the Guerrillas. Then I think they beat the Florida Mutineers next. Then they possibly beat whoever came down to the loser's bracket to face them. It's just a crazy situation. I hope everybody learned from it. I hope nothing like this happened again. It's a story that you can't draw up. Like, Hollywood could not have created this, and it happened. It cost the LA Thieves a chance, and Slasher was pissed off about it. Slasher said, I can't believe this is happening to me, yada, yada, yada. He had some choice words. They need to bounce back. I hope that the LA Thieves can make everything happen. I'll talk about a roster change that they have coming up in the future. But for the time being, wow. Just wow that happened, and it cost them from making a loser's bracket run. Just a couple more observations from the Major 4 LAN. Clayster, he's the truth, man. NYSL came into this as a pickup team. Clayster even said it. He screamed across the stage at Florida. He said, "You're losing to a pickup team." And yeah, they did, and they were. The one thing that impressed us most is that Decimate could come in and play so well in the Search and Destroy, because that's where NYSL ended up winning series. They struggled in the respawns, they struggled in the hard points, but the Search and Destroy, that's where they clutched up and made things happen. And I think a lot of it is because the leadership that Clayster brought and how he willed this team to perform. I mean, it's incredible. They get 3-0'd by the Minnesota Rocker in the winners finals, which may have been anticipated. Then they beat the Florida Mutineers in the losers bracket. Then they lose 3-1 to Dallas in the next losers bracket match. I think it would have been the quarterfinals. It's incredible what Clayster can will these guys to do and how they could come out after just playing one match. The match against Minnesota was basically a warm-up for NYSL, and they're like, okay, we see what Decimate is doing. We see how he's moving around the map. Let's make those adjustments. We can take down Florida the next day, and they do exactly that. They beat them 3-2. The Search and Destroy wins the map 5. It's incredible, and I think it's a testament to the player that Clayster is. He is one of the greatest players in Call of Duty history. Not only for his skill, his talent, his IQ, but how he can create a team, be a captain, be a leader, and enforce and impose his will to make everybody around him better. That's one of my huge takeaways from this LAN event for Major number 4. It's that Clayster is the truth. And he has shown that it's not one man to change the world, it's what one man can do to help his team, to sacrifice and play those behind the scenes and lower tier roles. I think it's incredible. That's one of the biggest storylines, is that NYSL played that well with a backup. Now they're getting a seam back. He's good to go, hopefully, for Stage 5 and Major 5, and I'm looking forward to that. The next thing that we have to talk about, and another team that impressed, Dallas shook things up, man. They took things from Toronto. They got reverse swept in the winners bracket. They got their revenge by reverse sweeping Toronto and making it to the grand finals and making it one hell of a show for us to watch, taking it all the way, all 9 maps. Dallas Empire, man. Vivid started off with this team in his first match through stage 4, and it looked shaky for Dallas. It looked like the problem wasn't fixed, and then they clutch up, and they look like one of the best teams in the league, make it all the way to the grand finals. Shout out to them and props to them. But based off of everything that happened, I mean, I'm still kind of tilted with the competition in the Call of Duty League. It's 4 teams. There have been 3 teams in every major. It's been FaZe, it's been Toronto, it's been Dallas. Those have been the 3 teams who have made it to the grand finals. Can we get some more competition? I mean, please. OpTic did their best. They made it close. They got 3-1 by Empire in the semifinals of the losers bracket. And then it was incredible back-to-back matches. The losers bracket final with the reverse sweep for Dallas to win that over Toronto Ultra. Beautiful to watch. Then after that, the 5-4 loss to the Atlanta FaZe. That was awesome. It was incredible Call of Duty, but we need some more competition, man. Come on. Storylines, we need teams to be better. Nonetheless, Dallas Empire, they showed up, they went big, and I liked it. The last thing and the final takeaway from Major number 4, and I think everybody can see it with what I just talked about, the Atlanta FaZe are still the best team in the game. They have only lost 4 series all season long. Those series map counts, 3 of them were 3-2, 1 of them was 5-3 in a grand final. The moment that they faced in the grand final of Major 4, I mean, they proved themselves. They proved themselves that this is more than they have shown all season long. Because a pressure situation presented itself on LAN, and they clutched up. This showed me that Atlanta FaZe truly are the best team. Because number one, everyone could be saying blah, blah, blah online. They come to LAN, they win the matches that they need to, make it to a grand final of Major number 4. Following this, Empire pushed them the distance. What did they do? They clutched up in the SND, map number 9, give Tupac his raise. The Atlanta FaZe are the truth, man. It does not look like anybody are stopping them for the time being, and I think they continue to be great. Shout out to them. Congratulations, Atlanta FaZe, on continuing to reign supreme. Maybe somebody will get there. Maybe somebody will get closer. I don't know if you can get closer because you were forced all 9 maps. Their only chink in the armor is when Toronto beat them. They look damn good. Those are my takeaways from Major 4 on LAN. And now we got to dive in to a deeper topic and something that is fast approaching, has LAN in the conversation as well. But this has been a large topic of conversation. A lot of arguments have been had online over the past couple of weeks about this. And now light is shining on it even brighter and brighter where we are now in the situation and how far along we are in the season. I'm talking about the Champs format. Arguments have been had left, right, and center on Twitter about the current Champs format. Listen, this is a $2.5 million tournament. We got to get this right. So right now, how it stands is that the top 8 teams in points throughout the CDL season are going to make it to Champs. There have been plenty of arguments, plenty of pro players speaking up and saying, let all teams come to Champs. All 12 teams need to be at Champs on LAN. That's the format we want. I'm going to give and play devil's advocate for both these situations. This is now a franchise league. We know there are 12 teams in the franchise for the Call of Duty League, and we set it up so we have a regular season so teams can accumulate pro points to find their spot in Champs. So if we have all 12 teams for Champs, what was the point of this regular season franchise league having teams compete in that sort of environment? I think that the biggest thing that comes from it would be seeding if you still allow all 12 teams. But right now, with teams fighting for the top 8 spots in the league to be the ones that make it to Champs, that's what we've been playing this sort of season for all year long. To accumulate those points, get yourself in a top 8 spot to be able to compete at Champs. But on top of this, it's kind of hard to have a season with a format like that when there are only 12 teams in the league. Because yes, I understand it in the NFL and the NBA and the MLB, all of these teams, there's 30 to 32 teams in every single league. Of course, you're not going to have 30 teams in a round-robin tournament for the quote-unquote championship. You're going to break it down, you're going to cut it in half, or just allow a certain number of teams to compete for the championship, because that's what makes sense. You can't have every team there, and the teams who are the worst in the regular season, yeah, you didn't perform well enough, you don't deserve to be in a championship situation in a championship format. But for just 12 teams in the league, we've seen the majors. It works perfectly fine, the format we have right now. Players have talked about it. They've talked about the CWL and MLG days when it was a winner's bracket, loser's bracket, like we've seen throughout the majors, a double elimination format, a double elimination grand final where the winner's bracket team has an advantage. We have not seen that all season long. The other thing, FaZe will just have to win like 2 maps and they'll be champions. So it's not as competitive for that team who's in the winner's bracket final and who have dominated all season long. And something that Octane has spoken on is that teams to win a championship should have to go through a gauntlet of series, play match after match against the best of the best, and compete every single day, Thursday through Sunday, Wednesday through Sunday, no matter how long we want the format to be, that it should be a challenge to win a world championship for $2.5 million. In my opinion, where the league is in its infancy, it doesn't look good to just have 8 teams there. That's just going to be a hard draw, not only for the players, but for fans. Like, how long is that tournament actually going to last, and what's the format actually going to be if it's just 8 teams? I know that on the other side of it, the bottom 4 teams who are trash, maybe they don't deserve to be there. But then look at what just happened at major number 4. The Seattle Surge, by far the worst team in the league, they made a run. And they pushed OpTic, a top 6 team, to the brink of elimination by forcing a map 5 against them. So these bottom tier teams, when it comes to LAN, even though the points aren't there, maybe they deserve to be there. Because there are upsets brewing, and they can make a difference and make a loser's bracket run. I think the story is, with only 12 teams in the league, maybe it works. Maybe it works. We allow them all there. We can see an upset. It's more of a challenge, and you actually see that gauntlet at that grind it takes to win champs. On top of this, with us progressing in the season, if it's on LAN, imagine not only the viewership online, but in person. If we're allowing fans, ticket sales will be through the roof. If you get all 12 teams there. Because even though the bottom tier teams may suck, some of our favorite players are on these teams. Some of our favorite coaches, personalities, Twitter account spearheads, and brand managers, they will be there on LAN, and we have the chance not only to be around them, meet them, talk to them, but we get to see them perform and play. I'm just going to take Octane for example. A lot of us love him. Like, he's a big personality in the Call of Duty League. Imagine how much you would lose not having him on LAN with ticket sales present. There will be some fans of Seattle who want to go just to see Octane compete on LAN for champs. If he's not going to be there, the storyline of him isn't there, the ticket sales may deteriorate. We want to see all the personalities. We want to have the scuff booth. We want to have the player signings, have the chance to talk to them, shake a hand, see them at the bar, whatever it may be. If you don't have all 12 teams there, think about how much you're costing yourself with ticket sales if this will be an in-person event that people are able to attend. I believe all 12 teams, not only for competition, but for viewership, ticket sales, everything we want to see for the Call of Duty League, it brings it down if it's just 8 teams. And also, I don't know how exciting of a championship, a $2.5 million tournament it will be with just 8 teams there. I don't know how you can make the format work to keep it exciting, everyone invested. Maybe a little double elimination action. You put the pro points up to seed people. You lose 2. No losers bracket. I don't really know that the format can work. I think I'd like to see 12 teams personally, and those are my reasons why. That's everything I have to break down and talk about and touch on from Major 4, LAN, and the Champs format, because that's a hot topic. Next up, we have some big conversations as we stick here with Barrick's news and notes around the league. Roster changes have been going wild the past couple of days. The first one you have to talk about, Chino has been benched for mental for the LA Guerrillas. What is going on? I'm scratching my head about this, man. Chino is not the man to drop for the LA Guerrillas. Chino is a beast. He performed on LAN in this major against the LA Thieves. He was a difference maker to win that match, and then they lost the second one. Chino was not the problem. The kid is a beast. He helps you so much in respawns. He helps you so much in S&D, and I am mind blown about this. No hate to Mental, because in Gears of War, he was a stud. And I think he can perform well. He's been doing it up in the challenger scene. He's a good player. But Chino was not the guy to replace. Chino even tweeted himself. He said, quote, "It just sucks that I'm brought in to fix a broken team and they can't see the real issue." I know Chino wasn't the problem. He knows he wasn't the problem. And still, he is being benched to bring somebody else in and try and fix that problem. I'm not going to come out here, point fingers, name names, but plain and simple, Cheen, he wasn't the guy to bench. What are we doing, LAG? He was not the guy to bring down. Ever since he has been brought up to play on your team, things have improved. You've looked better. His stats have been incredible. But this is what we do. It confuses me. It really does confuse me that he's the guy that you pick out of everyone to put on the bench. I don't know. I'm just mind blown. I don't know what else to say. I don't think Cheen deserves it. I think Mental, he'll make a name for himself. He's a competitive guy, but Chino wasn't the one to drop. Money Cheen, I feel for you. Keep grinding in the challenger scene. We hope to see you again in the CDL soon as we're approaching the champs. Plain and simple. So that one got a lot of people furious, but the next one and the biggest thing that has just been announced, so TJ was benched again from the LA Thieves, and these guys have made a hell of a lot of roster changes throughout the season, but the biggest thing that hits the headlines today is that Jon is the guy who is rumored to replace TJ. The Black Ops 3 champion. The guy is disgusting. A world champion in Jon. We've been wondering how long it would be until he would come back into the scene. He struggled with a lot. He struggled with a lot of mental health. Wasn't on a team. He's been grinding in challengers. He's been streaming, doing his thing. And now it sounds like he's going to have an opportunity to be back. And I could not be more excited. Why not just bring back the whole Envy roster? A lot of people have been saying. But the rumor is what the roster will be: Slasher, Kenny, Huke, and Jon. I think it's disgusting. These guys have another week until Stage 5 starts to get some practice in, work with each other, and scrim. I like the move. I don't know how much money the LA Thieves are spending because they have made so many roster changes. They picked up the contract of Huke. They're paying a lot of guys, and now they're bringing Jon on. I don't know if Nadeshot's paying out of pocket or what's going on, but these guys are wealthy. They are rich, and they are making the moves that they can and the necessary adjustments to have the opportunity to be a top 4 team and possibly make some noise in a major and with champs coming up. A guy you want on your team is Jon. He has the experience, he has the MVP ability, and he's a world champion. One of the best SMG players in the game at his time. I don't know how he looks entirely on this game, but I know he has the ceiling, he has the potential, and I think it's a good move from the LA Thieves to make this roster change. I'm excited to see how they can perform. I'll come out with some power rankings in the next episode when we get the groups released for Stage 5. But right now, my initial reaction, I like the move for Jon to be brought onto his starting lineup for a team that's a powerhouse contender with the names that they have in the LA Thieves. I'm excited to see the starting roster. We'll see if they can finally perform. I've talked enough about Barracks news and notes around the league. We're going to get into the final couple segments, the home stretch of episode number 20 of the Rotation with Zhack. Let's hop into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about who performed the best, who I thought was incredible throughout the Stage 4 Major. Let's get into it. Fantasy Standouts from the CDL. Some CDL Fantasy Standouts from the Stage 4 Major. You love to see it. And there were a lot of guys who performed that we thought were going to be good on LAN, and some guys who shocked us and surprised us. And that is who my number one CDL fantasy standout is. It's someone who shocked us, surprised us. We didn't have expectations coming into it, but it was his first time on LAN. I am talking about Neptune. He posted 105 points in fantasy throughout the Stage 4 Major. What an incredible guy for the Florida Mutineers to have on their team, and what a performance that he put up. He had a 1.36 overall KD in this major, a 1.45 hardpoint KD, blew just about everybody out of the water. Octane was up there with him, but Neptune slayed out in the respawns. He posted a 1.13 in control, and then in S&D, you know that's one of the modes he likes. He has a good S&D team in Florida, a 1.65 there for Neptune. It was his first time on LAN. The pressure was on, and he showed up. He welcomed the pressure, he calmed his nerves, and he performed as one of the best. He looked disgusting on the weekend. His movement, absolutely incredible. Shot looked crispy, and he looked very comfortable on LAN. Despite the trash talk coming from across the stage from Clayster, he got in his zone, stayed mentally strong, and performed well. Neptune, one of the biggest fantasy standouts from this past week. Hats off to him. Congratulations on posting a huge performance. I hope the team can place better for Florida in the next major. The next CDL fantasy standout is someone who's been consistent all season long, and we know he's a performer, but he really stepped it up a bar when we got to LAN. It's Octane. He had been begging for LAN all season long, and I think that made the expectations for his performance even a little bit higher. Octane had been complaining and whining about being online for years for Call of Duty. His mental health has been deteriorating, and I thought that the excuse is just lame of him being online. He came out, proved a point, absolutely dominated on LAN. A 1.37 overall KD for Octane. He posted 99 points in Major number 4 in fantasy. A 1.46 hardpoint KD, 1.16 control, and a dominating 1.57 search and destroy record. He got this team to go the distance against OpTic, and they almost pushed it even further in their losers bracket run. They were a team who everyone had their eyes on, who could make that run just because of how good him and Gunless can perform on LAN and the track record that they have had with these big tournaments. In addition to that, Pristini has done the same. Octane showed up, man. He really did need LAN to be back. He even said that he had been in his own head. Maybe he could have been better online. I think I agree with him saying that. But on LAN, he is a different beast. I feel like everybody around the Call of Duty League community was rooting for Octane to perform well and for Seattle to make a loser's bracket run. Shout out to him. He looked incredible. Another fantasy standout. The final one that I want to put my finger on, and someone who really showed up and LAN helped him out, is Bruce Almighty. Dashy with 80 points in fantasy on the season. Listen, he performed well enough here in this major number 4. Gosh, it just, the way he was shooting with the AR, it just makes me want to see snipers back in the CDL so much more. Because what Bruce could do with the sniper in his hand, it's incredible. We saw it in Black Ops 4. We saw it times before that with jetpacks. I want to see him get a sniper back in his hand. Regardless, he posted a 1.21 overall in Major number 4, a 1.26 hardpoint, and a 1.24 in control. The respawns were Dashy's friend. S&D, he struggled a little bit. Just a 0.88 KD, and I think that's somewhere that OpTic could pick it up. But looking into stage number 5, listen, we're at the home stretch. Everyone's got to perform their best. It's now or never. I think Dashy is one of the guys who will continue to step up for this team and make it happen. So shout out to him for being another CDL fantasy standout. Those are the big topics that I wanted to hit on today's episode number 20 of the Rotation with Zhack. We know we cannot end it there. We have one more thing to talk about, and I need a little bit of help from my good friend Scumpy. Let's hop into it, buddy. When I talk about best in the game from all of Stage 4, especially Major number 4, we are not talking about an individual. We're not talking about a player. We are talking about a cohesive unit, a team, coaching staff, players, the organization as a whole. The best in the game is the Atlanta FaZe. They continue to impress everyone and dominate the Call of Duty League. No matter how hard everybody tries, the Atlanta FaZe are still the best in the game. Let me break it down to you and look me in the eyes for this one. The Atlanta FaZe have only lost 4 series all season long. 4 entire series all year. 3 of them went the distance where they lost them in 5 maps, and the other one was a 5-3 loss to the Toronto Ultra in a grand final. Their record, 30-4. They have dominated everybody, and they have proved themselves even more on this past championship Sunday in the grand finals. A pressure situation presented itself with the Dallas Empire pushing it to a 9-map series in the grand finals, but what did the Atlanta FaZe do? They clutched up when push came to shove, and they performed at their peak, and they were able to win another grand finals. It's incredible what they've done. They've lost one grand final, 3 for 4. The only one they lost was against Toronto. Guess what else? They have only missed 2 grand finals since the conception of the Call of Duty League, dating all the way back to Modern Warfare. The Atlanta FaZe are just better. They are the best in the game. They continue to impress, and I anticipate them doing the same throughout Stage 5 and even when Champs comes along. Congratulations, Atlanta FaZe, on winning the Stage 4 Major. You guys deserve it. You're incredible. You fight through adversity. You perform when push comes to shove. I love to watch what the team can do. Crowder, Tupac, the organization as a whole, everybody has impressed me, and that is why the Atlanta FaZe are best in the game. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in to episode number 20 of the Rotation with Zhack. The season is winding down. I can't believe it. We're already in to Stage 5 of the Call of Duty League. I needed to slow down because I'm enjoying this now more than ever. Let's keep talking Call of Duty. Hit me up on Twitter at Zhack16. Find me on YouTube at Zhack, or just look up the Rotation with Zhack. Share this with your friends, family, fans of the Call of Duty League. I appreciate the love and support. As always, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on the video, and we will see you next time. Peace.